Good morning, everybody. Like the title of the video says, news. So just have a bunch of news here. First of all, I know many of you have been keeping track of a alleged perpetrator of child abuse, and many have done videos about him. And I'm not going to mention his full name, but we know his last name is Watkins. And I know several who have been asking if there's any more abuse survivors out there. Now, apparently, this guy was one of those watchtower troubleshooters or traveling elders, whatever you want to call them. And he went all over the United States. And I know he was at Bethel for a while, and I mean, he was like in Indiana, and the case is actually in Arkansas, and 4 abuse survivors have come forward so far. Now, some have told me they thought he was in California for a while also. So we're asking that if anybody knows of any other abuse, victims of his, to please contact, I believe it's pronounced Claiborne County Sheriff's Office, or the prosecuting attorney for that county. It's Cleburne. Now, I just got off the phone with the circuit court clerk, and she gave me the website to where all the documents in the court case is available. Now, it's interesting because I don't see on here where any of the survivors are actually suing Watchtower. So Watchtower's name isn't on any of these documents that I can see. But I'm going to put the link down below to this website. It's caseinfo.arcourts.gov. Now, the case number is 12-CR-18-263. And like I said, he was all over the U.S. helping congregations, so there may be more victims out there. So if anybody knows him. Now, I know his court case, the pretrial was back in May, and there was a motion for continuance, and then on, I believe it was 7/11, there was a motion, and there may be a plea deal in the making here, because at the bottom it says continued on defense motion with agreement by the state. Plea cutoff date is August 14th, 2019. And PT October 1st, 2019. So that may mean pre-trial. So like I said, this is just some information. And wow, 4 victims. And the thing is if he was traveling all over the country, if Watchtower was sending him all over the country, there is the potential for there to be more abuse victims. So hopefully, we can help the courts here get this out. And it looks like his bail was $100,000. Like I said, I'm going to put the link down below to all this information. It is still an open case. And as usual, our hearts and thoughts and our support goes to all the victims. And like I keep saying, that's what this channel is all about. So I've got some more news here. Now, many of you are sending me information about more conventions moving or being closed and not happening in places they usually do. Kingdom halls and congregations closing down. And so if you have information, just in the subject line, put either like Kingdom Hall closed or congregation dissolved, nail and coffin, something like that, and send it to Kimmy M. Brooks, KIMMYMBROOKS @gmail.com. So we want to thank all of you so much for the information and helping us out on this. And my goodness, there's so many. And I've got a lot to check and try to get property listings, so you guys are keeping me busy, which is good. And I've had some tell us that you guys have done this for way too long and you need to move on and enjoy life and all of that. It's like, whatever. We are enjoying life. In fact, this is one of my paintings back here that I did just to show that I am doing things I enjoy and moving on with my life, but we also choose to do videos to try to help those leaving and offer, support, and it's our choice. So anyway, like I said, I got a lot to cover here, and I want to thank everybody so much for the cards and letters that we have received, and gifts and books, and we really appreciate it. And we appreciate the love and support. Now, first thing, I'm sorry, Rocket Man, I haven't had a chance to do this until now. I'm going to put the link down below to his YouTube channel. It's Rocketman999. Now, he has been digging, and he has found some information on Anthony Morris. And I'm going to put the link down below. I really recommend that you go watch these videos, because he has his Aunt Mo's service records, documents, public documents that he has signed. And just to give you a little bit of a teaser, or spoiler alert, Anthony Morris is not a third. He's only a junior. So anywhere where it says Anthony Morris the Third, like their labels on their broadcasts and conventions and stuff, no, it's a lie. And Rocket Man has the documents to prove that. And also, like his mom's trust fund, and just a whole can of worms. So there are 5 parts here about Anthony Morris and his family finances and life. And so anyway, I'll let you go watch that. Also, I just want to mention that we were in contact with someone named Rick Miracle. Now, he's never been a JW, not even in the XJW community. He only did book reviews. That's all he did on his YouTube channel. And it was book reviews about just, stuff you would read. There was some about the deep state and the Illuminati and satanic cults and stuff like that, and all the connections. So this was his YouTube channel. He read books and he did book reviews. Well, he happened to have done a book review on Charles Taze Russell, very first book, Divine Plan of the Ages. And it was a great video, great review, and he's like, hey, what's up? Because he didn't know anything about Watchtower, so we actually contacted him. And another XJW had actually put us onto his channel. And so we contacted him, and I sent him all of Russell's, 6 books, Studies in the Scriptures, because he mentioned in his video how he would like to read the rest of these because of he could see the Zionist connection. And he had done a couple of more book reviews on other stuff, and all of a sudden his channel was gone. And he had sent me an email, and he said, I don't know what happened. He said, I had no copyright strikes on my channel. I was in good standing. And YouTube, without any warning or notice or email notifications, nothing, they just took his channel down. So I know I mentioned in my last video, oh yeah, Mike and Kim are conspiracy theorists. Thank you, Kevin. No, we are not conspiracy theorists. We are agenda analyzers. And boy, do we analyze a lot of agendas going on. Also, I want to mention, sad note, we were in touch with Kevin in Canada, and I mean, he was out for 7 years, I believe, and he was doing really well. He was going to school to be a psychologist, and we had several phone conversations, and he just up and passed away. We were contacted by Melissa, his fiance, and thank you so much, Melissa, for letting us know. We are so sorry for your loss, and you have our deepest sympathy, you know. And we had had several conversations with Kevin, and he was a friend, and he's a lot younger than us, you know, and just out of the blue to pass away like this. And she feels that it was just the tremendous stress that, you know, the cult had put on him. And we all know, you know, the shunning and, you know, that whole thing. But she did want me to mention this to everybody because this is really important, and it's something she's going through that, you know, she doesn't want to see any other ex-JWs go through. Even though he was so young, he did not have a will. And she is stressing, you know, please let everybody know to make sure they have a will. Different countries have different laws as far as your estate. Now, because they weren't married yet, she can't do anything. She can't get into the accounts. She can't get into, you know, anything because, you know, she didn't have the piece of paper. We know, you know, even here in the United States, it works the same way. If you do not have a will, then family or next of kin, like your parents, they would get your estate. And it makes it difficult because if they're JWs, the state, province, whatever you want to call it, will go find the JW family and let them have access to the estate. Not your fiance and all of that unless you have a piece of paper. So she wanted me to stress, you know, be sure you have a will. You know, we all know, you know, that anything can happen at any time. So just something to think about, guys. You know, if something happened to you, even if you're, you know, too young to die, anything can happen. Accidents, anything. So it is very important. I know Mike and I, when we first left, first thing we did was change our wills. And we have it in there that if anybody else not mentioned in the will tries to contest the will and fight it, they get nothing except for $1. So, you know, that's even in there. Even, you know, Jehovah's Witness family. So it's important, you know, to have a will and have this specifically, you know, written out. Also, I want to mention that in Scottsdale, Arizona, I'm going to put the link down below. On July 25th, a suspicious package left at the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses in Scottsdale, Arizona. And it ended up just being nothing. It was just a backpack. No hazardous materials or criminal items were found inside. But, I mean, they got all nervous and shut down all the surrounding area, roads and everything, over a backpack that had nothing in it. And the person I was talking to telling me about this, thank you, sweetie, for letting me know about this. First thing I said is, it was probably Daryl Wheelberg, you know, because he's mad at his elders for telling him he can't do YouTube videos, and he's just crazy enough to do it. Also, I wanted to mention, last weekend we had gone to our daughter's birthday party. And I'm not going to mention any family connections or their names because a couple of them are PIMOs and some are out fully awake, but they don't want their family to know. But I will say that there was 4 newly out ex-Jehovah Witness there who were connected with the family. And I was actually talking to one of them, and I would love to do an interview with her. It's so sad. She was abused from the time she was a baby until she was a teenager by her JW grandfather. And she went to her parents, and her father is an elder, still is. And it's so sad because they did nothing. They told her to keep quiet. And you know the whole thing. Don't talk about this to anybody. So here, her father is an elder and won't do anything to protect the congregation and his own daughter from a pedophile. And it was just horrible, and because of that, she suffers a lot of health problems now and a lot of emotional problems. And what was so sad is she said, my dad called me last week or week before last when they were going to be doing the child abuse article, and he was all like, you need to come back to meetings. See, Watchtower is trying to change their policies and make this better for, you victims and stuff. And she's like, I don't care. It's too little too late. And I told her, I said, I agree with you. I agree with you. And it's interesting because we're having this conversation kind of like away from the majority of others that were at the party. Now, at my daughter's birthday party, there was some of her husband's co-workers, there was some of her co-workers, their friends, a lot that have never been Jehovah's Witnesses and really don't know anything about it. And we noticed several were starting to listen, to our conversation and ask questions. And we ended up, talking about the U.S. Supreme Court petition now Watchtower has filed. And they were just asking questions and very interested in this. And they had never, heard about Jehovah's Witnesses. But it was so funny because, some of them who are newly out have actually seen our videos, but didn't know we were Shyla's parents. So it was funny. I wish I would have had a picture of their face. So if any of you are watching this or listening to this, love you guys. And it was great talking to all of you and meeting all of you. Okay, now I just wanted to mention something here. I want to thank Roger for this. Now, Roger had a couple of JWs show up at his door. And I'm not going to read all of this because it's 3 pages. And I didn't hear back from him yet if I could read this whole thing. So, Roger, if you're seeing this and you want to share it with everybody, feel free. You can either let me know and I can copy and paste it into a comment, or if you want to copy and paste it into a comment, all right. But I thought this was really interesting, and this might be something to help your JW friends and family. So he's talking to, these 2 guys, and he says, that brings up another issue I have with Watchtower teachings. Watchtower teaches that there are 2 classes of Christians having separate hopes. One class of 144,000 members whom Watchtower considers to be God's sons, having a heavenly hope, and another class, an unnumbered great crowd, whom Watchtower considers to be friends of God, having an earthly hope. However, Ephesians 4:4 says that all Christians are united in the one hope of heavenly life. Did you know that? Prior to 1935, Watchtower also taught that all Christians are Spirit anointed. To my surprise, the man said he was not aware of that fact. And also in here, I couldn't find it when I was looking, but he had told the JW, about, Watchtower teaches that Jesus is not the mediator to the great crowd. And even some Jehovah's Witnesses I've talked to, like years ago, I did a video about the sisters that showed up at our door. And they were, surprised to hear that in Watchtower literature, that Jesus is not your mediator. It goes Jehovah, Jesus, the governing body, then the rank and file or great crowd. And they tried to argue that, and it's like, no. And I went and got the book, Prince of Peace, page 16, I believe it is. And they're shocked by this. So, Roger, great job. And that is a good scripture to use. And I got it out and read it in the New Silver Bible. And sure enough, there's only one hope. So why do Jehovah's Witnesses teach there are two? The earthly class and the heavenly class. That sounds like two hopes to me. So that might be a good, stumper for Jehovah's Witnesses. So you all have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you later. Bye.